To this week's edition of the US Weekly Market Roundup. It's Sunday, 24th of January. My name is Abdul Hamid. I'm the founder of pivotinvestor.com. Now, let's get straight into it. Slightly different format this week. As usual, we'll look at the broader market, the S&P 500, and we'll look at the selected 5-day gainers, the top 3 gainers for this week. I've dropped the losers. Felt like the video was taking too much time, so we'll look at those, the gainers, and finally we'll head over to pivotinvestor.com and look at the chart books feature, where you can generate dynamically a chart book with different price action setups. So let's head over to the broader market. Then we're looking at the S&P 500 daily chart here. So last week when we did the video, we said where it looked like the S&P was holding at this trend line here, which also coincided with the previous month's high, which is this blue line over here, which had previously held, came back to give it another retest, and then it successfully held that. And it did go on to then try and claim the R2 monthly pivot. Now, those of you who follow my videos, they know that I get particularly nervous around the R2 pivot level for the month. And as you can see, we did get a close above it, but then price subsequently did tail back off and failed to claim this space over here. So at the moment, 3842 closed just below it at 3841. Very important level to watch. Ideally, we can get back over 3842. If we don't, then subsequently we can come back to 3826, potentially lower to 3800 perhaps for a shot higher. But ideally, we'd like to see this price continuation go on from here. So we'll keep a close eye on that one to see how that develops. Just quickly have a look at the weekly chart as well. And, things do look better on the weekly chart slightly, well, a lot. Over here on this one, trading at all-time highs, of course. But at the moment, 4280 is the price to reach from a pivot level perspective. You know, of course the trend is very much intact. We're still powering ahead. So just like to see us at least see the month out, preferably above this 3842 level during the last week of January over here, for us to go into February with the new levels there for the month. So important level to keep an eye on, the 3842, 3843. So want to keep an eye on this week. Now then we'll just have a look at this week's top performers. So we've got GRTS here, Gritstone Oncology Inc. Incorporated. Huge move from these from the pivot range over here. I just switch that off for a moment there. We'll just have a clearer look at the chart from here. Just have a look at some of these candle setups leading up to the price move, and I want to just quickly put your attention to an observation I made this week, which is typically that these rallies that we're seeing in these stocks, sometimes these huge moves, are often preceded by a particular setup. I don't know if there is an official name for it, I don't know, but I've called it the next wave. And the idea being that this get a setup like this over here, where you get a peak here, which is preceded by at least 1, 2, 3 bars in this case. You get this 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 peak. You get followed by an inside day over here. Thinking that sets then potentially a level which if broken, if claimed, we can see higher prices. So call it the next wave. You know, just to illustrate that again, so what we're saying here is that 1 bar, 2 bar, potentially then a top, followed by a lower bar, better if it's an inside bar, but lower bar over here gives us this, which acts as a potential entry level for us, a target which we can then watch in terms of price, and preferably then the day after or a couple of days after we see a break of that, which will indicate to us a higher move. So I'll call it the next wave, and when we'll go to pivotinvestor.com later, I've actually created a report which we can see as a chart book, so you can see that a bit later on. So well, on this particular occasion, obviously it worked really well, broke the 6th level over here, and then we saw a huge move up over here. Just heading over to the weekly chart now. Switch the pivots back on again. We've probably broken through all the pivot levels just about. It's come back and closed just above the R5 pivot level over here. So huge move there. DNMR, DNMR Scientific Incorporated, again another huge week, just shy of the R2 yearly pivot over there, so could potentially expect continuation for until 42.5 over there. So huge move there, 40%, just over 40% move this week. If I just go back to the daily channel, daily time frame rather, and we can see here again the that particular setup that I was talking about, the next wave setup as I'm calling it at the moment, which is this one over here. I get a top preceded by 1 or 2 lower bars. Actually that became our entry over there. Got an inside bar which is a bullish setup, where the range of this bar over here, so if we're looking at, for example, here, where the range of this bar, the current bar, is within the high and the low of the preceding bar. We have an inside bar setup, which is normally a continuation setup, and then the level to watch here was 30, which it broke. Also then broke the previous month high, the blue line, at $31, to then go up to that R2 pivot where it found resistance. So I don't say for no reason that R2 pivot is key, often makes for a good target, and where you could potentially take some profits as well. So there you are. Again we see that that setup there as well. And then last one is SEEL, SEEL, SEEL Therapeutics Inc. And are we going to get a next wave setup here? Sort of perhaps. We get one here. Let's just see the highs over here, 154, 154. So here we've got again the setup over here. Got your peak, something's a double peak over here. Price held off, not quite an inside bar, but we have got a peak over here, 154. And we saw price move higher. In case the initial targets definitely would have been 209 probably, which is moving from this black line, the mid range or the mid price level here for the previous month. Got a strong close below it. Regardless of the next wave pattern, it would have been a good target to head for the previous month high. We went higher, and look here again, we have the R2 pivot level, the monthly pivot level there for SEAL as well. So yep, always keep an eye out on the R2 pivot level. Now I'm quite intrigued by this next wave setup over here. So what I did do, as I said, I created a report. So I'm heading over to pivotinvestor.com and just log in over here, and just wanted to show you the chart books feature over here. Select the United States. There's a number of price action setups here. I think in the future I'll do a video perhaps on each one, so you can see the particular setup and where I typically would set an entry and stop levels, etc., and targets. So that for another day perhaps. But for today, we're going to go look at this next wave using Friday's data. So potentially look at some opportunities this week, and let's put in some stocks with some volume, 2 million, and maybe stocks which are at least over $5 perhaps. So that's generating now a dynamic chart book looking across the different US markets. And just to explain again, the next wave setup is where we've got one or two preceding bars to a peak, followed by another bar which is lower than the peak, preferably an inside day, doesn't have to be. We'll get this set up over here, and then that gives us a potential target for a breakout trade. And then preferably again the following day or days, what we want to see is price open below the entry or the breakout price over here. If I get price opening up above here, I would avoid the trade and not chase the market, to be honest, until it pulls back or something. Ideally the open is below the breakout line, so we can trade up through that breakout. But yeah, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, so the chart book is ready. Let's have a look at some of these opportunities over here. So this is what I typically do: run these reports and then just have a look, see if I get a setup which I think could look promising. You can see here, what's this one? AGNC. Let's come to the R2 pivot over here. So this is the setup. We've had quite a big run on this stock anyway. Should you get a break above this 1618, yeah, potentially can go higher. Also look like it's broken out of a channel as well over here. So it's done its break, gone to R2, slightly retraced. So so this is what then I call the next wave setup. Got a break point over there. So we'll look tomorrow to see how it behaves. If you get a break of 1618 on a swing trade, there's not much in it really. 16.5 as the next target. So small trades. Let's find a decent setup. So again, if you look at this one, I might adjust the report slightly to maybe just have inside days over here, but you've got your peak preceded by 2 bars. The following day we did get so it's gone below the low over here. Ideally it's an inside bar, but 1132 potentially a level to watch there for that one. So Amazon's come up here as well. So you got your peak preceded by 2 bars over here. This one now you have to use a bit of discretion as well over here. It looks like Amazon over here is in a bit of a channel. It's gone up, come back down again, back up again over here. So anyway, but it's given us a level. It's not quite an inside day. Has given the setup is there. 350 level to watch essentially. On all the 3 peaks prior, we didn't get a retest. So I think if we do get a retest over here, we can see price potentially move much higher, 3,380 to start with, and that ominous R2 pivot level at 3,500, which would line up to the high back over here, which was back in October last year. So yeah, something to watch over there. Not great. Again, got the setup. We'll look ideally for a break above this. Tested it twice now. Intentionally, the third time lucky perhaps. 1270 the level for that one. ANGI to watch. I'll get in a higher low over here as well. Potentially it's trending up stock, so want to keep an eye on there perhaps. Okay, again 1 2 3, got drop in price, left a peak behind. Let's see if we get a retest. If we get a retest, expect price to break up and go back to around 13.5 there. Now I want to find a good setup over here. It's about 140 of them, so a few to look through. Now, just as if you think 140 are too much and there's other criteria that you wanted to apply to the filter, these reports that we generated up here, the price action setups, they are also available in the report section over here, where you can download the list of 140 stocks, for example, apply your own filters in Excel, for example, and apply your own criteria to narrow down the list to what suits your trading style. This one, AVTR, it's another one that looks potentially promising over here. Trending strongly. It's taken out the R2 levels, came back down, retest, broken higher again. It's back up at these highs over here. For me, this is one of potential good. Still not an inside day, but you've got your preceding bars, got your peak in the middle there. So 30 and 70 is looking strong. Closed the high 30.70. Get past 31, we can see price go much higher there. That's AVTR. Over here, it's meant to be a short video today. Let's just do a couple more. I've got one here with an inside bar, so target's not that high. That one. Okay, maybe this one over here. So this is the last one. This is BWA, Borg Warner. You've got your setup 1 2 3. Got an inside day which is closed above the R2 monthly pivot, so it's going to mark that now. So typically what I would do then, I would mark that point there, 43.90 is $44 BWA. Now, so the next trading day, ideally price opens below this $44 region mark. Switch over to a lower time frame when you reach about $43 and watch that, and watch out for a break. Next level up here is 44.62, but this, if we move higher on this one, we could potentially see a big move higher. So I think this channel over here, the price did unfortunately close back in below the channel, so 44 is definitely the level to watch. If we get a break there, price can go much higher there potentially. Let's have a quick look at the weekly chart for this one, and we can see 46.5 is the yearly pivots. So we're already trading at the last year's highs over here. So if we break through that, target around 49 at the next pivot level up higher there. So we'll add that to the watch list and keep an eye on that one. So that's just 18 of the 141 we've reviewed there. So you can get access to the chart books, the pivot scanner report, all with our free trial, actually 7-day free trial, no payment details needed. So do register. You'll find the link for the trial on the top right hand side. Select the free 7-day trial, no need for payment details, and yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback on how it works for you. So with that, I would like to thank you for staying with us and listening to us. And hope you've enjoyed this week's US edition of the Weekly Market Roundup. Give the video a like, follow us on Twitter. You can find us at Pivot Investor, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. So hope to see you again next week. Enjoy your week and take care. Bye bye.